Hey guys, it's AJ from Design the Everything. Today we'll be making a case for my calipers. I'm sure you've seen me use this in almost all of my videos. These are just a basic pair of Harbor Freight calipers, but I use them all the time. So I'm going to design a case to be made out of this piece of maple. This was a offcut from a local cabinet maker. It was just in their offcuts bin. To do this, we'll be using photo reference. I've already taken a picture, and we're going to go through a more detailed tutorial on photo reference in my last video, which was just a quick project making a 3D printed key for it. I keep in mind I'm a little bit sick today. I'm sorry if I sniffle or sound a little bit funny, but I'll try to keep it together for you guys. So I'm going to start off by making our stock. So I'm going to come over here to Inventor. I've already hit the rectangle tool, and I'm going to build a piece that's the size of our wood, which is 4.25. I just measured that a couple minutes ago, and we'll do 10 inches long. Now I'm going to extrude that. I hit E for extrude, and it's a new body, distance, and select the profile, and measuring this with my calipers. It is 0.6, just over 0.6 inches. We'll call it 0.6. So 0.6, enter. All right, so there's our stock, or at least half of it. To make this easier to look at, I'm going to change the appearance on here. So right-click on that, click Appearance, and up here is our menu. I'm going to go down here to the Wood menu, which I already have open. And there's no maple, but bamboo is close enough. So I'm just going to drag that onto our piece. Close the appearance menu. And so now that looks like wood. Just make it a little bit easier on the eyes as we go. So let's go ahead and put in our photo reference. Again, I already took this picture. I'm going to hit Attach Canvas and click not on this plane here, but on this top surface. I'm going to make it 50% opaque and select the picture, which is just on my desktop. So it's sideways, rotate it 90 degrees. These controls here will let you move it a number of ways. You can slide it up, down, and flip it. You can also scale it larger or smaller. I'm going to hit OK on that, and now let's calibrate the exact size. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to right-click on that and hit Calibrate. Now, normally when I'm doing something like this, I'll take a picture of it next to a ruler, or a lot of times just on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. But this one already has markings on it, since it is a measuring tool. So I'm just going to use the two markings, and I went from the 4 inches to the 6 inches, and so I know that's 2 inches. I'm going to hit 2 inches and then enter, and now that's the right size. The placement isn't right, so I'm going to right-click again, hit Edit Canvas, click on the center dot to drag it to the right spot. And then this angle's a little bit off. It's not parallel with our board. Go straight down, making sure. Yeah, it's close, but not quite parallel. So I'm gonna take that. It looks like it's about half a degree off. Oops, I went half degree in the wrong direction. Let's try that again. Edit Canvas. Go -1 degrees. Hit Enter. There we go. And now that's parallel at the top. The placement looks pretty good already, so I'm going to leave that as is. And I'm going to make this less opaque. There we go. Now we need to trace the outline of this, which will be a pocket for the case. So I'm going to start off by going to the circle tool and the circle by center. And I'm going to make the dial circle here. So I'm going to click right on the center axle. It just started a sketch. I forgot to do that earlier. All right, clicking on the center axle and drawing it out until it's about the right size. So I'm going to move this to where it lines up better. There we go. Now we got another circle over here. I'm going to do the same thing. Circle, circle by center point, and eyeball that. Now I'm going to do things, I'm going to make all the lines just a little bit bigger than the calipers themselves, but I'm not going to worry about leaving any sort of allowance or anything. I'm going to go back and make this whole sketch a little bit bigger later. So it doesn't matter right now if I'm too tight on it, because that's all going to be fixed later. So I'm just going to go all the way around. And again, I'm just ending the line I'm making on those circles there, and we'll go back and trim everything later as well. And around the nose. Now, I like doing all this with lines. I have seen a lot of guys use splines, which they're basically curved lines. You control them through a number of different points you set down, and you can also change things like the tangency and the diameter of the curve on them. If this was a rounded shape, those would have been really useful. But for something that's mostly square like this, there's not much point to use them. I will do another video of those at some point here in the future. They are super handy. There's things you cannot do without them, but this is not something to do with them. So looking at that, that looks pretty good. I didn't miss any shapes. Cool. I'm just going to hit enter. And that should work. So now I'm going to use the offset tool down here inside the sketch menu. I'm going to click on my loop here. Let's go 0.4 out. Oops. Actually, let's make that 0.04. And let's make sure it's going the right direction here. So the red is the new line, 0.04. It wants that to be negative 0.04, so it's on the right side there. I'm going to hit OK. And now there's a little bit of wiggle room for the tool for when we carve this all out. We don't need the canvas anymore, so I'm just going to turn that off so we can see our workpiece and the sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude these out. I'm going to hit E for extrude and select the inside profile, move it up to make sure we have everything, and the outside profile. And now let's make it a hole. So it's a cut. It's a cut. Make sure it's going the right direction. And I can't measure these with my calipers, unfortunately, but I have a little ruler here. So the base, the widest part is, it's like a 1/4 inch. And then the dial is wider on top of that, which the dial is going to be in the lid. So we'll get to that in a second. So 1/4 inch, let's call it 0.3 inches to give it wiggle room. And okay. So there's our first piece. Actually, there's one more thing we want to do. So when you mill something out on a CNC, you can't make these infinitely sharp corners here. They have to be rounded. Now, normally that'll get just kind of rounded over by the CAM software, but it won't necessarily be predictable and it won't necessarily do what you want. So we're going to put a fillet on all of these corners here of half the radius of our mill bit, which my mill bit is, I'll be using an 1/8 inch. So we need a 1/16 inch round over on all of these all the way around. So that there, it may not look like it, but that's actually tangent, which is why I can't select that corner. But going all the way over. And by controlling these fillets, it means that the CAM program is not going to assume what we want or what we don't want. Since everything is possible to mill as it is designed, then it'll come out like we want it to. So I'm just going to type 1 divided by 16, and that's half of a 1/8 inch diameter bit. This G2 here, that is the continuity of the fillets. It won't change very much. You can kind of see it there a little bit. I'm going to click that because that just makes the whole corners much smoother, and it will cut a little bit better. All right, so there is the bottom piece. Actually, we do need to add hinges in. So I, once upon a time, 3D printed a bunch of hinges like this. They will fold all the way over. And since I have like 15 of those, I'm going to use them. So I want to make a pocket for them. So I'm going to do a sketch on the top here. And I'm going to measure these hinges. They are exactly 1.5 inches wide. And the usable space on them is, about maybe 0.45 inches. And let's go ahead and do 3 of them. So I'm going to do my first one smack dab in the center rectangle. I'm going to do it right there on the center point. And we said it was 0.45 inches of usable space. And since I'm doing this rectangle half in the air, I'm going to go to 0.9. So that 0.45 of it is on the wood. And then the width was 1.5. Let's make that a little bit wider. Let's do 1.52. And then on this here, let's do 0.92. We care a little bit less about that since there's more wiggle room this way than there will be this way. Now that I have my rectangle here, I'm going to hit E for extrude, click on that profile, change it to a cut, and go down. I have to measure again. Looks like 0.215 inches. So let's call it 0.22. And then it wants it to be negative. There we go, 0.22 inches. And hit OK. Now we're going to go to Modify and find the Pattern button. Or sorry, Create Pattern, Rectangular Pattern. We want a feature. So click on that down here on the timeline. Directions, we just want that way. We want 3 of them. Yes, let's do a distance. We want symmetric. See a distance of 3 inches. That should be okay. I'm going to hit OK. And now we have our 3 holes for the hinges. Now I'm just going to drill the holes for the screws in here in place. I'm not going to drill those with the CAD software or the CNC router. Just too difficult. I'm actually going to save this one. I have a tendency to not do that during my videos. So this is caliper case bottom. Save that. Now let's go ahead and make the top. So I'm going to go back up to save. Well, it wants me to make a change first. I can't just save it. Is there a save as? There we go. Save as. I'm going to change this to caliper case top and hit save. Now I'm going to mirror this. So create mirror. I want to mirror the whole body, and I'm going to mirror it about that surface. And I hit OK. Now we have the half over there. And I'm going to come back down here to my timeline to that sketch I did. And I just want the dial. So I'm going to remake this circle here with the circle tool. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to select everything. And then over here, I'm going to make into construction geometry. So that makes it still there and usable, but it won't actually be part of the sketch when we go to extrude or something. So circle, circle by center, click on the center point, and I'm just going to click on the outside there and hit stop sketch. This will break things. So you see how this is highlighted down here in yellow? That means there's an error. And in this case, I know that the error is the profile changed. So you see here up here, it says missing profiles. I'm just going to click on the missing profiles and click that center profile again and hit OK. And then actually, I forgot to change the depth, so I'm going to go back into that. Let's give it plenty of room. Let's do 0.45. Now, it just gave me a warning about all those fillets not being there. So I'm going to click on that fillet, and I'm just going to delete all of those fillets together. Again, all this is from this timeline of commands down here. And now all I have to do is delete the first body, or remove it, and there's my top. So it's a mirror image. The hinges are in the same place, and now it just has that hole, which should line up really well with the top of the calipers. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I will be doing another video really soon, probably on Wednesday, that's going to show the cam and the CNC of this case, and hopefully I'll have the actual case done for that video. I'm also going to be doing another video soon on how to do splines. If you want to see those videos and more as they come out, please hit the subscribe button. And if you liked what you saw, hit the like button. Thank you for watching. I will see you later this week.